again, everybody, and welcome back to SFF180. It is Monday morning, March the 22nd, and time once again for the mailbag. I hope you guys have had a great week and a great weekend. Mine's been pretty good. Anyway, not much in the way of announcements this time, except to say, wow, it's so nice to have a functioning computer again. It's nice for editing to be a joy and a pleasure again. Being able to make videos again. Wow, that was really not a fun time. But anyway, it's all better now. The culprit was absolutely the operating system. Definitely. Big Sur, as I have now said many times, is the Windows Vista of the Apple world. But Catalina is wonderful, and everything works again, and it's magic. So great, that means I can bring you some more books. I have a decent little stack of physicals this week, but another big batch of e-arcs to show you, taking us all the way into, nearly the fall. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and get into them, shall we? So, going to start out with the physicals, and this one says it comes in from Simon and Schuster. Okay, this one looks kind of intriguing. This is an arc from Saga Press for a book coming out on September the 7th. It's called Among Thieves. The author is M.J. Kuhn. And it says, let's see, the fantasy debut, perfect for fans of Six of Crows, of another Zelda podcast fame. The host turned author M.J. Kuhn promises a pulse-pounding heist set in a meticulously built world in this epic fantasy adventure. Okay. Come along with Ryla Cautela, the quickest, most cunning blade in Karawick, in her quest across Thamor and right into the stronghold of her mortal enemy, the Guildmaster. With the support of miscreants, thieves, and smugglers from all walks of life, Raya must maneuver battles, mysteries, and shady allies for a chance at her freedom or face death. Kuhn's debut is an addictive, otherworldly page-turner that won't let you put it down. Oh, yeah, books and I kind of have an understanding about that kind of thing. Anyway, it says, Among Thieves is an explosive arrival into the fantasy fiction world that will be remembered for years to come. Okay, it sounds like it'll be fun. But it is Among Thieves. It will be out September the 7th from Saga Press by M.J. Kuhn. And next, a package with the Amazon logo on it, the smiley that usually means a new horror opus from Silver Shamrock, perhaps. And it is actually two books in that package. The first one here is a short novel by Russell James. It's called Farallon Island, and a lighthouse, very ominous looking. Lighthouses are neat little horror settings when you get them. Let's see, this one says, Nate Thalman wants to escape his life as a Prohibition-era bootlegger. Oh, it's a historical. Nice. He moves with his pregnant wife Alice to the Farallon Island Lighthouse, situated on a rocky islet 27 miles off the California coast. Joining 3 other keepers and their families, he hopes for peace and a deep reconnection with his wife. But one of the keeper's children finds a secret cave. Oh, that's never good. No. And releases a malicious entity. There, you see? Secret caves. They're secret for a reason, guys. Anyway, okay, so the kid releases the entity that's imprisoned within. It possesses a former keeper. How would you notice? I guess you would. Anyway, and soon the islanders are being stalked and slaughtered. The demon within the keeper plans to only leave Alice alive, at least until she's given birth to her child, who will become the demon's permanent vessel. With no radio, no resupply, and no weapons, it is up to Nate to keep his wife and unborn child safe. But the body-hopping fiend seems to always be one step and one corpse ahead of him. Will anyone survive the wrath of the demon of Farallon Island? Oh, well, this sounds like it's going to be a hoot. Very enjoyable. Body-hopping demons, yes. Anyway, in lighthouses and secret caves yet. So, yeah, this sounds fun. By Russell James, Farallon Island. And next up in the same package, we have a book by a guy named Kenneth W. Kane. And this is called From Death Reborn. As you see, it's being reborn right there. And this one, well, it goes like this. It says, in the spaces between heaven and hell, there is the unlife, a place where all beings are but pieces on a chessboard. Influenced by greed and power and love, each individual must face their own challenges and exert their free will as they see fit. No one, not even God or the devil, can do anything but try to curb what goes on there. Okay. Follow Nathan and Clay as they battle their way through several of the many realms of hell on a collision course with the unknown. There in the unlife, everything will change. Everyone will change, and a new being will be born. But will it be for the best, or will evil prevail? Well, that sounds very ambitious, a story. But yes, from Death Reborn, Kenneth W. Kane from Silver Shamrock. Now, I don't have sell sheets in either of these books. These are just, e-arcs. E-arcs, they're print-on-demand arcs. There it is, Thomas. And so there are no actual release dates in them, so you'll just have to look that up on Amazon or something. Okay, next one is from Hatchet, and lo and behold, from Orbit, I was actually not expecting to get one of these. It's the physical arc for Tasha Suri's The Jasmine Throne. This one comes out June the 8th. It's the start of a new series. Very highly anticipated. I've already had the e-arc for several weeks. But now I have the physical arc. And, I'll just read all over again what it has to say. I mean, you've seen this at least twice now, in my anticipated list and on Mailbag Monday, but let's do it again, shall we? A vengeful princess seeking to steal a throne, a powerful priestess seeking to save her family. Apart they are dangerous, together they will set an empire ablaze. The Jasmine Throne begins award-winning author Tasha Suri's The Burning Kingdoms trilogy, a stunning sapphic epic fantasy where wild forests and crumbling temples have secrets at their hearts, where formidable women will claim their rightful inheritances, no matter the cost, and where the line between heroes and monsters can vanish in a single spark. Yeah, a lot of people, including me, looking forward to this one. So, I'll try to add it to the TBR, to the queue very soon. But The Jasmine Throne is available June the 8th from Orbit. And last up, for the physicals, I have this box here, which says it's from Rebellion Publishing. That's kind of interesting. It's a big old box, but it's kind of lightweight. So let's see what we have. Okay, that entire big box had exactly one book in it and a ton of stuffing paper. Okay, but it's a book I'm extremely happy to see. It's the finished copy in hardcover of a book I've been very much looking forward to. It's by Aaliyah Whiteley, and it's called Skyward Inn. And, let me just read. Very cool, very psychedelic cover here. I'll just read it to you. From the flap, it says, "Drink down the brew and dream of a better earth. Skyward Inn, within the high walls of the Western Protectorate, is a place of safety, where people come together to tell stories of the time before the war with Kita. Kita with a Q. But safety from what? Kita surrendered without complaint when Earth invaded. Innkeepers Jem and Isley, veterans from either side, have regrets but few scars. Their peace is disturbed when a visitor known to Isley comes to the inn asking for help, bringing reminders of an unnerving past and triggering an uncertain future. Did humanity really win the war?" Okay, so I guess we'll find out in the pages of Skyward Inn from Solaris Books in hardcover by Aaliyah Whiteley. All right, so that's it for the physicals. Now I'm going to move into the e-arcs. I have about a dozen here, it looks like. And once again, I have organized them in order of release date. So the first of these is one I've been looking forward to from Tachyon Publishing. Actually, several of these are going to be from Tachyon. It's a book called Unity by an author named Ellie Bangs. Comes out April the 13th. And it says, evoking the gritty cyberpunk of Mad Max and the fluid idealism of Sense8, Unity is a spectacular new re-envisioning of humanity. Breakout author Ellie Bangs has created an expressive philosophical science fiction thriller that expands upon consciousness itself. Denai is not only herself, she is concealing a connection to a grieving collective inside of her body. But while she labors as a tech servant in the dangerous underwater enclave of Bloom City, her fractured self cannot mend. In a desperate escape, Denai and her lover Naoto hire the enigmatic ex-mercenary Alexei to guide them out of the imploding city. But for Denai to reunify, the three new fugitives will have to flee across the otherworldly beauty of the post-apocalyptic Southwest. Meanwhile, Denai's warlord enemy, the Duke, and a strange new foe, the Borrower, Already seek them at any price. All right. So that is Unity by Ellie Bangs, and it will be out from Tachyon, as I said, on April the 13th. Now, next up, we have one from Saga Press, meaning that I'll probably get a physical something of this fairly soon. But this is interesting. This is a book called Firebreak, and the author is Nicole Corner-Stace. I hope I've pronounced that right. I probably didn't. I probably epically failed at the pronunciation of that, but there we are. But this comes out May the 4th. This is an adult science fiction novel. Previously, this author, a few years ago, put out a book called Archivist Wasp. That's it. Which was a pretty well-received YA. I believe it was a runner-up for the Norton Award at the Nebulas. So this is, I think, the first adult SF novel that she's put out. Anyway, it says, New Liberty City, 2134. 2 corporations have replaced the U.S., splitting the country's remaining 45 states. 5 have been submerged under the ocean. Between them, Stellaxis Innovations and Greenleaf. Those are the corporations. There are 9 super cities within the continental U.S., and New Liberty City is the only amalgamated city split between the 2 megacorps, and thus at a perpetual state of civil war as the feeds broadcast the atrocities committed by each side. Here, Mallory streams Stellax's war games Sec Ops on Best Life, spending more time jacked in than in the world just to eke out a hardscrabble living from tips. When a chance encounter with one of the game's rare super soldiers leads to a side job for Mal, looking to link an actual missing girl to one of the Sec Ops characters, Mal's sudden burst in online fame rivals her deepening fear of what she is uncovering about Best Life's developer, and puts her in the kind of danger she's only experienced through her avatar. Okay, Nicole Corner-Stace's adult science fiction debut. Firebreak is loaded with ambitious challenges and a city to save. It's being pitched to fans of Ready Player One and Cyberpunk 2077. Hopefully it will be better than those, but it's that kind of book appealing to that kind of, gamified high-tech future sort of a thing, right? But that'll be out May the 4th from Saga Press. All right, now, moving on, we have another book from Tachyon. This is one that comes out May 25th, and this is one that I've actually been very eager to see because it looks like a lot of fun. It's by David Ebenbach, and it's called How to Mars. And it says, what happens when your dream mission to Mars is a reality television nightmare? For the 6 lucky scientists selected by the Destination Mars Corporation, a one-way ticket to Mars in exchange for a lifetime of research was an absolute no-brainer. The incredible opportunity was clearly worth even the most absurdly tedious screening process. Perhaps worth following the strange protocols in a nonsensical handbook written by an eccentric billionaire. It's not exactly a very subtle jab at Elon Musk, but we'll go with it. Okay. Possibly even worth their constant surveillance, the video of which is carefully edited into a ratings bonanza back on Earth. But it turns out that after a while, even scientists can get bored of science. Tempers begin to fray, unsanctioned affairs blossom. When perfectly good equipment begins to fail, the Marsnauts are faced with a possibility that their training just cannot explain. Irreverent, poignant, and perfectly weird, David Ebenbach's debut science fiction outing, like a mission to Mars, is an incredible trip you will never forget. Okay, so there you go. It's a trip to Mars. It's The Martian, but make it like a reality TV show kind of a thing with a group of people. It sounds like it'll be a hoot, and I hope to read it very soon. On May the 25th from Tachyon. All right. Now, also on May the 25th, we have one here, I think it is from Del Rey. And this is a book called Scorpion. The author is Christian Cantrell. And this one, sounds very much more like a thriller, techno-thriller sort of a thing. Quinn Mitchell is a 9-to-5 spy, an intelligence analyst for the CIA during the day, and a suburban wife and mother on evenings and weekends. After her young daughter is killed in a tragic accident, sending her life into a tailspin, Quinn hopes to find a new start in her latest assignment, investigating a series of bizarre international assassinations, whose victims have been found with numeric codes tattooed, burned, or carved into their flesh. As Quinn follows the killer's trail across the globe, always one body behind, she begins uncovering disturbing connections between the murders and herself. Every lead she tracks down in pursuit of the assassin brings Quinn one step closer to the Epoch Index, or Epoch Index, E-P-O-C-H. I think that's epoch is the correct pronunciation. Some people say epoch, and I think that sounds stupid. I think it's supposed to be epoch. Anyway, I'm rambling. Let's move on. A mysterious encrypted message discovered in the archives of the Large Hadron Collider. Its origins are unknown, and decrypting it is beyond even the CIA. Yet nothing else can possibly link together a slew of unsolvable murders, an enigmatic and sophisticated serial killer who always seems to be 3 steps ahead, a quirky young physics prodigy whose knowledge extends well beyond her years, and, underlying everything, the inescapable tragedy of Quinn's own past. Discovering the meaning of the Epoch Index leads Quinn to a shocking twist that shatters everything she thought she knew about the past, the future, and the delicate balance of right and wrong that she must now fight to preserve. So, there you have it. Scorpion by Christian Cantrell will be out May the 25th. Okay, then, next up we have what looks to be a new YA from Simon & Schuster, another romance-heavy YA. This one appears to have a strong bi representation, apparently. It's called Girls at the Edge of the World. It's by Laura Brooke Robeson, and it comes out on June the 8th. And it goes like this. In a world bound for an epic flood, only a chosen few are guaranteed safe passage into the new world once the waters recede. The Kostrovian royal court will be saved, of course, along with their guards, but the fate of the court's royal flyers, a lauded fleet of aerial silk performers, is less certain. Hell-bent on survival, principal flyer Natasha Koskinen will do anything to save the flyers, who are the only family she's ever known, even if anything means molding herself into the type of girl who could be courted by Prince Nikolai. But unbeknownst to Natasha, her newest recruit, Ella Neves, or Neves, Neves, all right, Ella, anyway, is driven less by her desire to survive the floods than her thirst for revenge, and Ella's mission could put everything Natasha has worked for in peril. Okay, well, I assume at some point along the line there will be smooching involved and other romancy things, but also lots of action-adventure, it sounds like. But Girls at the Edge of the World by Laura Brooke Robeson comes out June the 8th from Simon & Schuster. And on June the 15th, we have a book now from Daw in hardcover. This one looks really cool. Love the cover and the whole concept here. It's by Kathleen O'Neill Gear, and it's called The Ice Lion. And it's described thus. It says, 1,000 years in the future, the Zyme, a thick blanket of luminous green slime, covers the oceans. Glaciers 3 miles high rise over the continents. The old stories say that when the Gemen, J-E-M-E-N, godlike beings from the past realized their efforts to halt global warming had gone terribly wrong, they made a desperate gamble to save life on Earth and recreated species that had survived the worst of the Earth's ice ages. 16 summers old Lynx and his best friend Quiller are members of the sea lion people, archaic humans known as Denisovans. They live in a world growing colder, a world filled with monstrous predators that hunt them for food. When they flee to a new land, they meet a strange old man who impossibly seems to be the last of the Gemen. He tells Lynx the only way he can save his world is by sacrificing himself to the last true god, a quantum computer named Quansi. It sounds drastic, but anyway, it all takes place in The Ice Lion by Kathleen O'Neill Gear, available from Daw Books on June the 15th. Now, on June the 24th, I have one that I am extremely excited for, and I want to thank the author himself for getting a copy of this to me. This is Artifact Space, the first science fiction novel, I believe, the first space opera, by Miles Cameron, who is well known for doing big epic fantasies, and also does historical novels under the name Christian Cameron. First science fiction, and let me tell you, you put a cover that looks like this on a book, I'm going to read the book. I mean, I don't care if it's by Bozo the Clown, right? I'm going to read the book. I will like it a lot better by Miles Cameron, but the point is, yeah, very sweet, very nice. Anyway, it says, out in the darkness of space, something is targeting the great ships. With their vast cargo holds and a crew that could fill a city, the great ships are the lifeblood of human-occupied space, transporting an unimaginable volume and value of goods from City, the greatest human orbital, all the way to Trade Point at the other, to trade for a xenoglass with an unknowable alien species. It's kind of awkwardly worded there. Looks like they might have left some words out. Anyway, it has always been Marka Nabaro's dream to achieve the near impossible, escape her upbringing and venture into space. All it took to make her way onto the crew of the great ship Athens was thousands of hours in simulators, dedication, and pawning or selling every scrap of her old life in order to forge a new one. But though she's made her way on board with faked papers, leaving her old life and scandals behind isn't so easy. She may have just combined all the dangers of her former life with all the perils of the new one. Okay. Anyway, Artifact Space by Miles Cameron will be available June the 24th. In the UK, I should have added that at the beginning. I do not know if there is an American release date for this one, but you can always get it from Book Depository or something. Okay, moving on down the list. This is one coming out from Tor. This was on my anticipated fantasy list. It's a book called She Who Became the Sun by Shelley Parker Chan. It's available July the 20th. And it says Mulan meets the Song of Achilles. In Shelley Parker Chan's She Who Became the Sun, a bold, queer, and lyrical reimagining of the rise of the founding emperor of the Ming Dynasty, from an amazing new voice in literary fantasy. In a famine-stricken village on a dusty yellow plain, two children are given two fates, a boy, greatness, a girl, nothingness. In 1345, China lies under harsh Mongol rule. For the starving peasants of the Central Plains, greatness is something found only in stories. When the Zhou family's eighth-born son, Zhou Chongba, is given a fate of greatness, everyone is mystified as to how it will come to pass. The fate of nothingness received by the family's clever and capable second daughter, on the other hand, is only as expected. When a bandit attack orphans the two children, though, it is Zhou Chongba who succumbs to despair and dies. Desperate to escape her own fated death, the girl uses her brother's identity to enter a monastery as a young male novice. There, propelled by her burning desire to survive, Zhou learns she is capable of doing whatever it takes, no matter how callous, to stay hidden from her fate. After her sanctuary is destroyed for supporting the rebellion against Mongol rule, Zhou takes the chance to claim another future altogether, her brother's abandoned greatness. That sounds really quite epic, and it will be out, like I said, from Tor Books on July the 20th, She Who Became the Sun. Very nice. Now, coming up on September the 7th, we have a very different sort of a thing indeed. How about some body horror? For the encroaching fall. That's right up my alley, indeed. This is a book called The Peculiarities by David Liss, and this is another one from Tachyon. And it goes like this. It says, Thomas has more serious problems than those of a disaffected young man. Ain't it the truth? Right? There are irregularities at the bank he cannot explain. Thankfully, not having that one. His childhood friend has mysteriously turned up dead. Ooh. Worse, a verdant skin malady has infected him. Leaves have begun sprouting out of his skin. I tell you, I've tried everything. It's really embarrassing. Thomas must conclude that it is due to the long-rumored peculiarities. London's famous grey fog has been concealing a rash of unnatural afflictions, and worse. Wow, yeah. The leaves, I mean, you can deal with it. They itch a little bit, but, you get used to it. What can I say? But the rest of the peculiarities you'll be able to find out on September the 7th from Tachyon. Yay. And on September 21st, we have, I think all the rest of these now are going to be from Tachyon. This is one called The Escapement. It's a new book by Lavi Titar. And, it says, into the reality called The Escapement rides the stranger, a lone gunman on a quest to rescue his son. But it is too easy to get lost on a shifting landscape full of dangerous versions of favorite things, lawless cowboys, giants made of stone, oppressed clowns, and even more sinister forces at play. The stranger always finds new enemies in every godforsaken town. He reluctantly defends the not always helpless while avoiding the deadly symbol storms of petulant gods. As the stranger has learned, the escapement is a dreamscape of deep mysteries, unpredictable geography, unlikely allies, and unwinnable battles. But the flower the stranger seeks still lies beyond the mountains of darkness. time is running out as he journeys deeper and deeper into the secret heart of an unknown world. In this dazzling new novel evoking westerns, surrealism, epic fantasy, and circus extravaganzas, Lavi Tidar has created an evocative dreamscape of dark comedy, heartbreak, hope, and adventure. Chronicling a lone man's quest in parallel worlds, The Escapement recalls the epic darkness of Stephen King's The Gunslinger via the unpredictable whimsy of the Phantom Toll Booth. All right, I'm in. The Escapement, September the 21st, from Tachyon. And wrapping up today, finally, we get a final horror offering from Tachyon, and it's a new Ellen Datlow anthology, but not just any Ellen Datlow horror anthology. This is a body horror anthology. Hooray! It's called Body Shocks. And it says, best-selling editor Ellen Datlow presents body horror at its most wide-ranging and shocking best. Discover 29 intricate, twisted tales of the human body, soul, and psyche, as told by storytelling legends including Carmen Maria Machado, Richard Kadri, Shannon Maguire, Caitlin R. Kiernan, Nathan Ballingrud, Tananarive Dew, Alyssa Wong, Cassandra Kaw, Angela Slatter, and many more. And it doesn't appear to be all new or all original stories, too. It looks like Ellen has gone back in time and, rescued some stuff from the past, because there's a story in here by a guy named Edward Bryant, who was a science fiction writer who was, like, sort of always on the cusp of success, but he was more of, like, a cult figure. And a really nice guy. I actually knew him when I was much younger and going to conventions in Texas. He was... he was around for a lot of those. But he is dead now, alas. But there's a story by him in here. And there's also a story by a guy named Michael Blumlein, who died, I think, about a year ago. And if the story in here is the one I'm thinking of, it's a piece called Tissue Ablation and Variant Regeneration, a Case Report. I think I've read that one. And if it's the one I'm thinking of, it's pretty sick. It's all about a guy whose basically his body is being gradually piece by piece harvested for building materials. And so, yeah, it's pretty wild. So anyway, Body Shocks, edited by Ellen Datlow, available October the 19th from Tachyon Publishing. And there you have it. That's all I've got for the mailbag today. You guys know the drill. Light up those comments. Let me know which of these looks most interesting and exciting to you, and which you would like to see me prioritize for review. Otherwise, if you enjoyed watching, please hit the like button, share the video far and wide with all of your SFF and horror reading friends, and above all, please subscribe. If you haven't done so, that's how the channel grows. You can also support the channel at my TeePublic store and at my Patreon, where recruits into Wink's Army get little perks like occasionally getting early access on some of my videos. That is likely to pick up now that I'm able to edit again, and I'm not up till 5 in the morning fighting with a misbehaving computer. So I want to thank all of those lovely people for their added support. It's greatly appreciated, especially during these hard times. I want to thank all the rest of you guys for being the very best viewers in all of BookTube, and until I see all of you next time, please stay safe, stay healthy, and happy reading.